Hey, Tom Rabbit! I hope you got this for your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit! You're saying God does not and cannot exist because people's reasoning that God is faulty. That is a fallacy. That is the genetic fallacy.
I didn't say cannot. I said I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, here's the position. Your position is that God does not exist. Now, if you want to argue that is not your... Can you not overtalk me, please?
You haven't even let me say anything.
Would you not overtalk me, please?
There you go.
I'm asking you not to over... I'm asking you, again, not to overtalk me. All right?
I'll be back next.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Just raise your hand when you're ready for me to talk. How about that? Go ahead.
Okay. Now, are you going to stop overtalking me? Thank you. Now, your position is that God does not exist. Is that correct?
Are you raising your hand? Okay, great. Okay. Yes.
Okay. All listen yes. to me. If you're going to act like a teenage imbecile, Nephilim Free is going to kick you out of the room. All right? Now, I'm trying to be respectful of you. Now,
no, you aren't.
Is it your position? No, I'm assertive when people act like teenagers. Now, is it your position?
Let me finish one sentence.
Okay, you keep on over-talking me. Is it your position that God does not exist?
I've said that like 3 times, yes. That my position is
God
yes,
does not
God does not exist.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question again, and please do not repeat your first answer because I demonstrated it is the genetic fallacy. Now, God does not exist because...
So you want me to come up with a whole freaking different answer? God doesn't exist because we made up the attributes of what a God is. Period. Okay. That's it. That's my belief. Don't go into a whole philosophical argument of why my belief is faulty. Just accept that is my belief.
And how did you... Look, you're not understanding. I just corrected you 3 times. You are reiterating that your same opening statement, it is a fallacy. It's the please do not overtalk me. Please do not overtalk me. Nephilim, would you mute him, please? Would you mute him, please? Now, you are repeating your opening answer. I explained to you that it is the genetic fallacy. Do you have a counter rebuttal?
No, I don't.
Then you have to drop it then.
Why? Why would I have to drop it?
Because I just showed you that it's a fallacy.
How does that prove that a God exists?
Okay, you're not understanding. Okay, wow. The lack of focus is staggering here. Okay, would you please? I would appreciate it. I will try.
You don't let me finish
the best of my ability. I'm going to try to the best of my ability not to overtalk with you. No, I'm going to keep on talking. Nephilim, would you mute him, please?
Would
you mute this guy? Nephilim, are you there?
This is why atheists don't join.
He's AFK.
This is why atheists do not join this channel. Darth, you haven't let me finish a sentence.
Are you high right now? Have you been using alcohol?
No, I haven't. Keep going.
Okay, then you're borderline psychotic here.
Okay.
Now, I want you to give me an answer of why what is ultimate is not personal. Appealing to faulty human reasoning that concludes, therefore, God is a fallacy. I've explained to you 4 times now why it's a fallacy.
Because you can posit any word for God, any single one.
Okay. Explain to me, apart from faulty human reasoning, why is it that do you know, or I'll change the question for you. Okay? Do you know what is fundamental and ultimate, that is the source of all possibility and impossibility? Do you know what that is, and do you know that it is impersonal?
No. That's a great question. That's a great question. That really gets to the heart of it, because those are attributes that you've obviously defined, or that you've given to the God that you believe in. So I think that's
you're not focusing here. I'm not talking about what my beliefs right now.
I thought you said you weren't going to overtalk me.
Your position here.
I thought you said you weren't going to overtalk me.
Okay. Do you have a problem with overtalking?
You've been telling me not to overtalk for the last 5 seconds because you haven't let me finish one fucking sentence, dude.
How old are you?
Can we just please?
I'm asking you a sincere question. I'm almost 60. How old are you?
I'm 50 years old. I'm 50.
You're 50. You're 50 years old.
That is
I am truly shocked that a 50-year-old man like you is acting like a 15-year-old.
Because you haven't let me talk. If this is how you talk,
you're delusional. You are absolutely delusional. You are a delusional 50-year-old man.
Okay.
Let's start all over. Okay.
Do you feel better?
What is the topic? Okay, we're talking about your position that God does not exist. Now, since you don't know what is ultimate, then you cannot say. Listen carefully. Since you do not know what is ultimate, then you cannot say. You see, you're proving my point that you're a 50-year-old man who's acting like a 15-year-old on camera. This is why it is so difficult to converse with you atheists, because of the gross immaturity. Now, can we start all over, please? Now, since you don't know what is fundamental and ultimate, then how did you determine that what is ultimate is not personal? And please don't resort to telling me about faulty human reasoning. How did you determine that what is ultimate is not personal?
That's a great question. So how did I determine what is ultimate is not personal? I would just say, look at every other species on the world that didn't develop it into a consciousness to realize that they have a personal being, such as your consciousness, to then formulate another being to say that thing must be personal as well. And what I would respond with is, even more so, it makes very little sense to me that if you believe in a personal, ultimate being that existed for infinity before it ever decided to create an Earth, would then create a universe with an Earth to have humans, to have like the same logic principles as this being, right? I mean, to me, if I was being a rational human being and I said, and I believed in things such as, evolution, and I looked at our closest relatives like the chimpanzee, and I go, you know what, if it is true that we've evolved from these chimpanzees and apes, and maybe our brain capacity has now moved into consciousness, and so maybe we're, I don't know, 1,000 times smart. I'm just throwing an arbitrary number out there. We're 1,000 times smarter than these chimps that we can't even talk to yet. But we've made up an entire God that has the same logic structure as we do as beings. Seems just ridiculous to me, to be honest with you. I would honestly think that if you came up with, even if it is a personal, intelligent being God, I would think that any modern day science fiction writer could come up with a way better one than the guys who did it 3,000 years ago. I think it literally shows that people from 3,000 years ago created this God because they created with the same logic structure. To me, that is ridiculous. So that's my answer.
I didn't hear a clear answer of how you specifically determined what is eternal and ultimate, and that it is impersonal. Could you give me in one sentence a clear answer how you determined what specifically is eternal?
How do I determine what is eternal? I would honestly say I have no idea how to determine what is eternal, and I don't see how a religious person could either.
That's all right. I got. Okay. Well, the fact that you are incredulous is a second issue which we can discuss.
Okay.
So you don't know what is eternal and ultimate, but you know it's not personal?
I don't know if there is anything that's ultimate, right? And I don't know if there is something that's ultimate, whether it's personal or not personal. It's
not God, right?
No, I never said I don't know. I said I don't believe.
Okay, so do you believe? All right, listen carefully. So here we go again. I want the audience to know this is the verbal kabuki net. Please don't interrupt me, because I listened for a long period of time silent while you were giving your community college lecture. Now,
thank you.
I want the audience to realize what we here is the bait and switch here. He did not answer the question at all. He delivered a mini community college lecture that dodged and danced. Now, what I want to know from you is, 1 minute you're saying there is no God, the next minute you're saying you don't know. You are flipping and flopping between metaphysical positions. Is it your position that what is eternal and ultimate is not personal and therefore a God?
I would say that I have not researched whether there's something ultimate, and so therefore I don't believe that there's something that's ultimate, because I have no idea what the definition of ultimate means, to be honest with you, Darth.
Okay, I'll give it to you if you like.
I don't know what it means.
It's actually very simple.
Okay.
What is ultimate is that which is eternal, unconditionally non-dependent, and the source and basis of all possibility and impossibility. Now, do you assert that what is ultimate is not God, personal?
Yeah, I assert that, because I don't see how, even with your definition, right, you could still give those same attributes, which you agree man came up with those attributes to define. You just gave those to me, right? I mean, it wasn't like a God came down and told you that was the attributes of what ultimate is. So let me finish.
You're not focusing.
I am focusing. I'm giving you.
No,
I'm telling you that man came up with those attributes. So you decided on a definition.
You're segueing away on a semi-related topic. You're not focusing on my question. My question is very truncated and very circumspect. Now, you assert that. You don't know whether or not anything is ultimate?
No.
Okay, so you don't know is ultimate. Then if you don't know whether or not anything at all is ultimate, then you cannot hold to the position that there is no God, which would be defined as what is ultimate. So you are undecided as to whether or not anything is ultimate?
Yes, I'm undecided.
Then that would mean that you're undecided about the existence of God as well.
Well, even if you could prove to me that God exists, right? I'm not saying that
you're not
can't.
Focusing on what I'm saying to you. You're talking past me.
I've already answered.
I asked you a question. You're not focusing.
I've answered that. I answered
it. You're not focusing. Okay? I asked you a question, right? You just told me that you're undecided as to whether or not something is ultimate. But earlier in the conversation, you asserted that there is no God. God is in the category of what would be designated to be ultimate. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. If you do not know, may I finish, please? Okay. If you do not know whether or not anything is ultimate, then you cannot be in a position to say that there is no God, because God is in the category of what is ultimate. So you need to decide which position you hold to, okay? You will either hold to the position, I do not believe or know that anything is or is not ultimate, or you're going to have to hold to the position that there is no God as what is ultimate. You cannot hold to both positions.
You're correct on that point, but you're also giving a false statement, because you're presenting two finales where there could be multiple. Just like I said to you, would thousands of gods be in what's considered ultimate? Wouldn't ultimate apply to?
You're not focusing.
Wouldn't ultimate?
You are completely.
There can only be one ultimate.
Please don't interfere. You're not.
How did you?
Okay, please hold on.
How did you determine there could only be one ultimate?
Soldier, I will repeat again what I just said to you. Okay,
I told you it's a false dichotomy.
Okay, you are not focusing. Okay, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. Either you're going to have to hold to.
If you keep treating me like you're my parent, we're just going to end.
No, I'm not treating you like your parent. Your reasoning is appallingly bad, and I'm trying to correct you, but you're
presenting a false dichotomy.
Okay, now your position is either you don't know whether or not there is anything ultimate. Now, if you say it's not a false dichotomy, and I'm going to show you why it isn't, right? Your position is that there is no God. God is within the category of what would be designated to be ultimate. If you don't know whether or not anything is ultimate, then you will not be in a position to say no God, because God would be designated as an ultimate. So you have to pick one or the other.
I disagree with that.
Okay, well, then the problem here is you're not understanding. It's not a false statement.
I do understand. I understand exactly what you're saying, but you're positing it either has to be this or X equals God. No, X could equal thousands of gods. Like I told you before, X could equal no gods, and the universe is eternal.
Soldier, you're not focusing. Okay.
My response is, instead of using the word God to me, posit it with anything. Posit it with anything,
Soldier,
and your statement holds
focusing.
True. Your statement is the same statement.
You're talking past me. You're not focusing on what I'm saying to you in the question I'm asking. Okay?
I've answered you.
Is it your position? Is it your position that God, as a personal ultimate, does not exist? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, that is my position.
Okay. So you have knowledge as to what is ultimate?
I have a belief, right?
I didn't ask.
I don't have knowledge. I don't have knowledge.
Okay.
I don't have knowledge. Okay. This is my belief.
Do you believe that there is something that is ultimate?
I think this is where I have. Hold on. No. I think this is where I have a problem with the question, because you're saying something as ultimate. So something could be the universe. If you put the universe in that category. You need to focus
on my question, soldier.
Let me answer, Darth. Let me answer. I'm asking you, can the universe be put into that ultimate category under your description?
What I believe is not relevant to the question. What you need to do is answer the question. Do you believe that something is ultimate? Yep.
Under your definition, yes. Maybe the universe.
Now you contradicted. Okay, so before you just said you don't have a belief as to whether or not there's something ultimate.
So, is your goal right now to get me to
are you contradicting yourself, soldier?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
My goal.
He's referring to a God. So I'm trying to get him to clarify. I'm trying to get him.
Well, first of all, I haven't asserted to you anything about my metaphysical beliefs. What we're discussing right now, and this is why I have criticized you a number of times in the conversation, that you're not focusing, right? The issue at hand is your position that you believe that there's no God, right? Now, telling me that people have faulty reasoning by which they come to the conclusion that there's a God, that's a non sequitur. In philosophy, that means it does not follow. It does not logically and necessarily follow that people's reasoning is faulty, that therefore what is ultimate is impersonal. So I'd like for you to tell me, how did you determine that what is ultimate is impersonal?
So no personal being which you've given the attribute ultimate to has ever shown itself to me, or anybody for that matter.
So that's a non sequitur, what you just said.
You asked how did I determine? And I've given you several reasons. I've given you several.
Okay.
I've explained.
I know, soldier. Let me respond a little. I know lots of people who say he's revealed himself to them. I'm one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So because he's not revealed himself to you, or let's assume that statement is true, that God has not revealed himself to you. But others, when you say he hasn't revealed himself to anyone, that's you're making a claim you can't substantiate there, because there's a lot of people who say God has revealed himself to them, and I'm one of them.
Soldier. The fact that you believe that what is ultimate and personal has not communicated to you, it does not logically and necessarily follow that therefore what is personal ultimate does not exist. So what you have the rationale that you gave, the second rationale that you gave for the falsity of God, that too is what we call a non sequitur. Okay? A non sequitur is something that does not logically and necessarily follow. I'll ask you a question, could we have a worldview where there is a personal absolute creator who creates the world but does not engage in revelation? Is that logically consistent?
it's logical. You could believe anything, and it's logical.
Okay, hold on.
It's logical. You
You're not
could believe
understanding.
that.
You're not understanding. Is it internally logically consistent? I'm not asking you if it's true. Is it internally logically consistent that in a world where there is a personal absolute creator, that he constructs a world, but that he does not engage in revelation? Is that logically consistent?
I don't see what one has to do with the other, to be honest. I don't even see why you
I'd like an answer to the question.
I'm trying to think about your question. I really don't honestly see what it giving revelation to people or not. What does that have to do with whether
what you're saying is that the only way that there could be a personal absolute creator is if and only if that creator engages in revelation. That is a non sequitur. That does not follow.
Can I be honest with you? Every time I give you a reason, then you want me to come up with another reason because you were unwilling to accept my other reason. So we haven't had like an actual conversation where I've told you 20 different reasons of why I don't believe there's non-personal.
Okay,
I've given you two. I've given you two.
And have I not shown you that they are fallacious?
No, you haven't, because like I said before, and you didn't answer.
Did I tell you it was a non sequitur?
You can use whatever word you like, but I think the audience I think the audience will see.
Does it logically? All right, I'll demonstrate to you right now.
You never even answered my first question, Darth.
I'll demonstrate to you.
You didn't answer the first one that you promised to.
I will demonstrate to you and the audience right now how what you just said is fallacious. Now, does it logically and necessarily follow that in a world where what is personal and absolute would necessarily engage in revelation?
No, it doesn't. That's not logical.
Good. You've now contradicted yourself.
No, because you could have a being that's personal and be here every day, right? Okay. It doesn't have to reveal itself through revelation. If you have a personal being, it could literally be here every single day.
Soldier, you're not focusing
with or without revelation.
You're not focusing on what I'm saying to you. Okay.
I have
your focused. Argument. Your argument is this. Your argument was this. You stated that what is personal and absolute cannot and does not exist because you have not received revelation. Is that your position?
That was one of probably 30 different reasons I have. You're just attacking one at a time. You're attacking one at a time.
Was that your last reason?
Yes, that was my last reason.
Does it logically and necessarily follow? Does it logically and necessarily follow that if there was a personal ultimate creator, that creator would necessarily engage in revelation?
Would necessarily engage in revelation? No, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily have to engage in revelation.
Okay, well then your reasoning. Let me just wrap this up here. Then your reasoning that you gave is fallacious because you said. Because you have, can you, if you're a 50-year-old man, can you act like a 50-year-old man, please? Now, you stated there is no God, there is no personal absolute because you have not received revelation. That original statement that you made just contradicted what you just said because I asked you, does it logically and necessarily follow if there's a personal absolute creator that creator will engage in revelation? You said, no, it doesn't follow. That completely contradicts your previous statement that there is no God because you didn't receive revelation. So you have contradicted yourself.
Well, soldier, consider this also. It's possible, logically possible, that God has revealed himself to lots of people, but not you personally. That wouldn't be a verification that he doesn't exist. It's completely possible that God exists and has revealed himself to many people, but not to you, for one reason or another. Now, we could speculate as to, lots of people even. We could speculate as to why that's so. But it doesn't logically follow that God doesn't exist because he hasn't revealed himself to you.
Okay, so soldier, do you realize I just laid out in clear terms, okay? I methodically laid out how you contradicted yourself.
Okay? However, I think God has revealed himself to everyone.
Darth, you didn't ask the question that because of my belief equates to God not being there, right? You asked what is one of mine? What is one of my reasons? It doesn't mean that because I am not getting revelation, therefore God must exist. That makes no sense at all. That makes zero sense. Really, what it would be, what the logical conclusion would be, that A, God could exist and he's just not revealing himself to me, or B, God doesn't exist and that's why he's not revealing himself to me. But your question was to me, what do I believe?
Okay, good.
And I said one of the reasons is because of revelation. That's not a logical contradiction. I mean, that's not a contradiction. Because God hasn't revealed himself to me doesn't equate, well, then that means God exists. And that's what you're trying to say. And that's
Soldier,
that's
listen
wrong.
to me.
That's
I'm
wrong.
gonna be very blunt, okay? I'm gonna be very blunt, all right? Your dialogue with me here today, what you just said, is borderline schizophrenic. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You are. I have been very painstakingly careful and methodically working through this. Is it your position that because you have not received revelation, that therefore it logically and necessarily follows what is ultimate is not personal?
That would be one of 30, right?
Okay.
That would be a position, but that doesn't mean that God doesn't exist. Your question is, what do I believe? Your question is, what do I believe?
The conversation really can't go. Listen, the conversation really can't go on much longer, is because your responses bear no resemblance in terms of coherence and in terms of focus to what I'm saying to you. You're just rambling at a rapid way. You're completely unfocused.
Here's an assertion I would make. And many Christians make this assertion. I understand the atheists are going to have a problem with it, and then they appeal to methodological naturalism and evolutionism,
right?
And even naturalism. But my assertion is this, and Scripture bears that out. Scripture actually says this, and I believe it's true, that everyone knows that God exists, and some suppress it in unrighteousness because they don't want to feel guilty before a holy God. They don't want to feel responsible to him. They don't want to feel that guilt. That's a little pain, and they don't want to feel that little emotional, self-chastising pain. So they bow out by saying God doesn't even exist, and that fixes it for them, or at least they think so. And I think the way that God has revealed himself to everyone, in one of the ways that he has done that is the creation itself, the world in which we live. I think it's rational and logical that as a person moves and acts in this world, they experience and recognize that the world in which they live is of a level of complexity, beauty, and interdependence that bespeaks of a creator, that it's not its own explanation for itself. And here's one of the things that I think is interesting about that. Some years ago, there was a study done, and what they did was they took some very small children, and I mean very small children, 1.5, 2.5-year-old kids, and they showed them a video. And the video was CGI, of course, and what they did in the video was they made some balls bounce down along the floor and stop. And the next ball came and lined up right next to it. This ball. And then the next bouncing ball came in and lined up next to it. And eventually what happened is the balls formed a pattern as they lined up themselves into a pyramid. And when the children saw this, they went, wow, what? They jumped like shock. What? How does that happen? Because you see, the point of the study was even very small children recognize that natural processes don't order material things in astonishing ways, that things move to disorder. Even very, very small children, less than 3 years old, recognize this. And so when they see a video that looks completely real to them of balls ordering themselves into a nice stacked pyramid because they were randomly tossed down a hallway, they immediately know something's up with that, because that just doesn't happen, see. And so the order and complexity and beauty and interdependencies of this world that we live in automatically tell every rational mind that there's somebody ordered it, that it didn't get this way on its own, because when we observed rocks rolling down hills, balls tossed down an alleyway, things don't actually. I mean, when any of us sees something really unusual, like a guy on a basketball court, he's not even looking in the direction of the goal, and he just tosses the ball behind him real hard and says, "What do you think about that? Let's see what happens." Turn around, and lo and behold, it swishes through the whole hoop. I mean, everybody jumps for joy. They're like, "Wow, can't believe that." Because that's just happenstance, random chance occurrence that just happened to turn out that way. And it's bizarre and rare. The odds that would happen are very rare. That was a 1 in 10 million shot, because he made it blind, right? So we're all shocked when we see something like that. We don't just say, "Oh, yeah, well, what do you expect? Of course it's going to go through the hoop." We're blown away by this, and small children are blown away too. So I think it's rational that everybody recognizes that the order and beauty, complexity, interdependencies of this world that we live in tell us that somebody with unfathomable power was able to do that and make this whole world like it is, and all the beautiful, complex life forms and their interrelationships with each other, and everything about the world, the trees that blow in the wind, the deer, everything. It bespeaks of a creator, and man recognizes that. But I think atheists are people who see that and then suppress that in unrighteousness. They tell themselves, "No, I know my mind is telling me this world had a creator, because, nature has shown me since I was an infant that matter doesn't naturally organize itself into astonishing things. That's not natural. What's natural is matter goes the other way," right? So when they recognize that, but then they suppress that in unrighteousness. So I don't think there's anybody, even atheists. I know you're going to disagree because you won't want to make this admission, but I think even atheists recognize in their subconscious that God does exist, and they bury that. They dig a hole in their backyard and they throw God down in it, and then they throw the dirt over and say, "No, no, 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 no," as they walk away. That's what I think they're doing. How do you respond to that?
So Neff, I appreciate you letting me on and talking to you guys. Darth, I'm just going to be honest with you. You sound like a really smart guy. But when you guys invite atheists on, don't try to attack them with theory, philosophy, linguistics. Don't try to.
We're not attacking. We're debating.
Hold on. Let me just finish.
Those are our lines of argument. They're not attacks. They're lines of argument.
I just want to give you some advice, because I'm not a professional debater. I don't come on here to argue philosophy and linguistics. I want to have a conversation with you where you want to try to find out, how did I come to this certain viewpoint? You don't then follow it up by just battling over, "Oh, well, that's fallacious and that's contradictory." Try to actually understand the person that's talking to you, and because I know you understand my responses to you, but your goal as a debater is to try to win the debate. Your goal isn't really to try to understand the person that you just invited on the show. And so my advice to you is, in the future, when you want atheists like me to come on,
I heard you. Now,
attack it differently. What
you're telling me is that when you come in here and you're making a defense for atheism, and then I ask you for your reasons for atheism, and I point out to you that your reasons that there is no God are philosophical fallacies, that I shouldn't correct you when you make errors and fallacies? I shouldn't correct you?
I stated to you why they weren't fallacies, and I'll tell you one, you still didn't ever answer.
You did not give, Darth, stop.
You never answered my original question.
Stop. You did not, this is absolutely false. You did not offer a counter rebuttal that you were committing non sequiturs. Okay? I offered you no, you didn't. Okay?
I said you could posit anything but into God. You could posit anything.
Listen, you're not focusing. This is your whole problem. This is your whole problem. You are so unfocused.
Hey, don't take off, man, because
listen, you are emotionally triggered. You are emotionally triggered. Wow, you just never shut up. You're like the Energizer Buddy. I've been listening to this whole time.
I want you to answer the question.
Okay, I'll answer your question. I'll answer the question when I have an opportunity to respond to your accusation. Now, you are just emotionally triggered because I challenged and criticized your faulty reasoning. And then you're emotionally triggered saying, you should just try to understand me instead of criticizing me.
No.
Well, I am going to criticize you when you're using faulty reasoning to support atheism. Okay? You atheists claim that you're champions of reason, but when I point out that your reasonings for atheism is fallacious, then you're upset going, well, you shouldn't criticize my reason. You should just try to understand me. This is the way children think. You're reasoning like a child.
Are we ready to get back to my original question to you?
Now, what? Listen, the original question was why you're an atheist. That was the original question. Okay? And you still haven't answered that because the two rationales that you gave, I showed were fallacies, and you did not offer a counter rebuttal other than giving us a long, extraneous community college lecture.
I gave you a valid rebuttal. My rebuttal, and so, which you didn't answer the first part because I wanted you to clarify. In your definition of ultimate, which you said I was making this fallacy, could you posit other things like multiple gods or the universe? Would these things fall under your definition of ultimate?
No.
Okay, so before you answer, let me say something real quick. I want to just say, Tony, sorry you can't get in. I have a cheapy account with this live streaming, and I can only have 6 people in at one time. I'm going to upgrade. I haven't done it yet. So,
Tony, I'm about to drop off anyway. You can come in.
Welcome, Otangelo.
Well, let me just briefly answer you before you go.
Glad you guys
you cannot posit a plurality of things as ultimate, because that would not be logically coherent. What is ultimate would have to be singular and the source of all possibility, and all other things within the set of reality would have to derive and depend on what is ultimate. So you cannot have, I'm not done yet, you cannot have a plurality of things being conceptualized as ultimate. You might believe that they're foundational, but they could not be ultimate, because in order to be ultimate, it means everything that is not the ultimate depends and derives on the ultimate for its existence. So you can only posit that something that is singular is ultimate. You cannot posit that a plurality is ultimate.
And I disagree with that logic.
Okay, but you're not understanding. Hold on a second, Otangelo. Okay, I will explain it again to you. What is ultimate? What is ultimate? Listen to me. What is ultimate? What is ultimate will be the source and basis of all possibility and impossibility. If there is a plurality of things, why are you're not understanding? You see, your whole problem, you're not focusing, you're not listening. What is ultimate will be the source and basis of all possibility and impossibility. So if you try to shoehorn in a plurality of things, of 2 or more things, right, then either one of those plurality of things, 2 or more things, then they would all be peers. They would exist independently of each other, right? So what you're appealing to as ultimate is an abstraction, not something concrete. Only something that is singular and concrete can be ultimate as the source of all possibility.
I disagree with that.
So a plurality of things, listen, what I'm telling you is ironclad. If you disagree, listen to me, I'm explaining it to you. You know what? It is very disappointing to you, disappointing to me, that a 50-year-old man reasons like a 14-year-old child.
Pretty disrespectful, mate, to be honest.
Now, what I'm trying to say to you, hold on a second, I got somebody calling here. What is ultimate means that to be ultimate means to be unconditionally non-dependent and the source of all possibility, right?
Well, he's already acknowledged
if we have a plurality of things existing eternally, then individually they wouldn't be ultimate, because there would be other things that would be coexisting in eternity that do not depend on the other. Therefore, neither one of them would be ultimate. As I said, they could be foundational or fundamental, but they couldn't be ultimate. To be ultimate is to be the source of all possibility.
Can I ask Soldier a couple of questions?
So what was the source of the source then?
So hold on a second before you go on. I want to tell Pale X. There's someone trying to join, calls themselves Pale XXX. I can't let you in because I have a cheapy account with this live streaming service, and I can only have 6 people in at one time. There's 2 people trying to join the live stream. I can't let them in because it's full. I haven't upgraded yet. I will upgrade, and I can then have 12, 14, or more people.
Before Soldier goes, I wanted to make a brief comment. Soldier, if you look in the side chat here, not on YouTube, but in the StreamYard, there's a Discord link. Do you see that?
Can I ask Soldier a couple of questions?
I'll provide.
Please be quiet for a second. Do you see the link to Discord, Soldier?
No, in the StreamYard.
It says in the StreamYard private chat. Scroll up to the top. It'll say discord.gg. See that? That is a link. That is a link to an atheist theist debate center.
Look in the live stream chat now because I just pasted it in there for you.
Okay.
Would you please copy that? That is the link to an atheist theist server where I and other atheists and theists hang out, where we can have more extended conversations and debates. And I know that we disagreed and it got a little bit heated, but I would more than welcome you to come there so that we could have further conversations.
Okay. And before I leave, I just want to finish it at this. I respect your position.
Let's let Soldier have an unadulterated last word since he's about to.
Yeah. So I just want to say I respect your position that by logic you would seem to think that an ultimate source would have to be singular, and I guess that's where I reject it because really what it comes down to is we don't know if there's an infinite number of gods, for example. What if there's...
How do you know I don't know that?
Well, wait a minute, Brother Darth. Let's let him have his say. We can talk about it when he leaves.
There could be an infinite number of gods, for example. There could be a universe that keeps going and getting destroyed for infinity.
How do you know that?
Nothing to... I don't, but that's why I don't posit.
So you're asserting what you don't know?
Single source.
So you're asserting what you don't know?
Can I ask Soldier a question?
All right, guys, I'm going to leave. I mean,
can I ask Soldier a question?
We're not going to get beyond that. We're not going to get beyond.
Ask Soldier a question.
Shoot one question before I go.
Soldier, okay. Why don't you believe in the Bible? What would you say is the main reason?
Sorry, you broke up there.
What would you say your main reason is why you don't believe in the Bible?
My main reason, I think, to me, it comes down to actually just the math and statistical probability and the history of the world itself. I think the best way I could explain it to people is are you familiar with database? Like, have you ever worked in Excel spreadsheet, for example? Have you ever done that?
Briefly, I'm not familiar with it now.
Okay, so if I was to show you an Excel spreadsheet, and then I just listed every god that men have believed in for 200,000 years, and I listed all of that out, and then I showed you the populations of people who believed in those gods, and their peaks and when they died out, and then ultimately I came up with a formula based on all of that data, which I could do right now. Then what it comes down to is your belief in any specific God, whether it's Jesus Christ, whether it's any other God. It really comes down to 4 major things, and that's where you were born, the time in history that you were born.
Yeah, that's an atheist cliche. What you're saying right now.
What your parents believe,
This
and
is
what
an atheist
your
talking
Could you let him
point.
finish, Darth, please?
Yeah.
So this is what I believe. So for me, it came down to statistics. And if you do the spreadsheet right now, and you looked up the amount of gods, what I call the fallout rate for what we no longer believe in, it's 99%. It's every god that existed before the one you believe in. And even after that, you don't believe in the Mormon God, right? And you don't believe in this guy in Russia who calls himself
That doesn't
Jesus.
mean God doesn't exist.
So my
this
point
is just an atheist talking point.
No, it's a math and statistical probability for me that the God that you believe in does not exist. Now,
I think it's mathematically and statistically likely that the plethora of gods that men believe in don't exist because one of them does.
Good.
Okay,
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I got some bad news for you, soldier. That argument you just gave turns on yourself because you're a part of those worldviews that are included therefore your position is statistically improbable too, and you're going to have to reject that. So that you're right. your argument, listen to me carefully, the argument you just gave is self-refuting.
Not really, but
no, it is because your belief system is one of a myriad. You believe, okay, in Buddhism holds to do you believe Buddhism is a religion?
It doesn't believe that the God is the creator God.
Okay, so Buddhism is essentially atheistic. But you just told me you used that argument against Buddhism, didn't you?
Can I finish?
Religion can be a system.
Let me finish. Did you use that argument against Buddhism, soldier?
Can I finish my original question?
No, all I want to know is, did you just use your argument against Buddhism there?
Guys.
I only heard
guys, did you use your argument against Buddhism?
Darth, I'm trying to finish the original question.
I'm showing you how what you just said is a fallacy.
Okay, but let him respond in kind. In all truth, he's getting 7 words out for every 60.
I got 2. Geography, where you're born, the statistical probability of the Bible being the one God out of all thousands.
Frank, you're coming in really low. Can you do something with your mic, man?
All right,
soldier, that probabilistic argument refutes your position.
Darth, hold on. And so, and I said the fallout rate, which is, really what gods do you believe in? That
you're not understanding. Your position is self-refuting.
Darth, let me finish. Let me finish this guy's question. So, to me, that shows that statistically, just throughout history, just looking at world history, that statistically everybody believed in a current God, whether it was 2,000 or 3,000 years old, but 99% of them you've rejected. And so the odds of the current God that you believe in is accurate, just like everybody else who lived in Greece, for example, their current God. So let me finish.
No, you got the wrong idea of what a God
is.
I'm going to respond to that when he's through.
Please,
it's a total fallacious because what you're saying refutes Buddhism.
Darth,
simple question: is what you're saying refute Buddhism?
Darth, let's let him.
No,
finish.
Okay. Look. Here's the problem. This guy. Listen. I'll tell you why I didn't let him finish, because all he was simply doing, I'm going to explain to you. Were you privy to the entire conversation that I had with him?
Yeah, but it just got so relentlessly boring.
Okay, well, Frank, I want to ask you a question. I want a question. No, what he was doing was, hey, Frank, I know that. I'm trying to explain to you that if we let him go, he will go on and on and on and on.
No,
the argument that he just gave.
In all truth, Darth, he really didn't get much of a chance.
Yeah.
He was repeating the same thing over and over and over again. That is why I interjected. Okay?
Maybe so, but I think he deserved to speak a little bit more than that.
No, he kept on repeating the same thing over again. At a certain point, we got to say, okay, enough. Let me just make a final comment. Let me make a final comment about Soldier, okay? Now, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus because he's not here, because I said the same thing to... Shut up! I'm talking! Shut up, I'm talking!
He didn't get to
now, shut up! I'm talking! He's not here anymore! Shut up! Now, I'm summing up what was characteristic about Soldier, okay? Virtually all of his reasoning was convoluted and self-contradictory. He did not have the ability to literally reason like an adult. He put on full display the reasoning that we would expect from a 15-year-old. I showed him step by... Shut up! Shut your mouth!
You're rude.
Nephilim, would you mute this guy?
Well,
I'll just really kill my sound. I'd like to finish because I have to go. All right. Now.
Okay. Well,
this guy Soldier put on full display that he had the level of reasoning of a 15-year-old. It was that bad. He did not offer rebuttals to my refutations of his reasoning whatsoever. What he did offer, which he claimed were rebuttals, was just simply monologuing. He wasn't focused at any time on anything that I was saying. he wasn't even aware.
About 60 times tonight.
Okay, so we're done. The guy was a moron.
Yeah, he was. Anything but God. The atheist.
Arguments for
all right, I'm done, guys. I'll see you later.
Well, Darth, that was a good. All right.
By the way, did you get that Tom Rabbit?